House elves, centaurs, and polyjuice potion have all been confirmed for Hogwarts Legacy. I'll break it all down for you here in today's video, including a character from the Harry Potter series that has also been confirmed to make an appearance in Hogwarts Legacy. People of the internet, RetroRaconteur here. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm just a dad who loves games and the stories they tell. We post videos every week here on YouTube and also stream over on Twitch. I want to just give out a quick thank you to all of the recent subs on the channel. We recently surpassed 600 subscribers, closing in on 700, which is absolutely incredible. Gonna have to do something extra special when we hit 1,000, so let me know if you have any ideas. Apologies for my nasally sounding voice in this video, guys, as well. Allergy season is hitting me hard right now, but I'm gonna keep the videos coming to you anyway. Bear with me though today. The topic of today's video is centered on a PlayStation blog post from Adrian Ropp of Avalanche Software. He is the head of story for Hogwarts Legacy, and this post is crammed full of interesting details. Now, this blog post has actually been up since back in September, believe it or not. I think a lot of people may have missed it though, because if you think about it, Hogwarts Legacy was unveiled as part of the larger PS5 showcase event, so there was a lot of news going on there. And anytime games are revealed at events like this, they do run the risk of some news getting swept under the rug, and I think that may be what happened here, at least for some people. How about you? Did you already know about this blog post? If so, let me know down in the comments your most exciting detail from the post. Of course, all the PS5 news certainly didn't hurt the trailer, which has been viewed more than 14 million times on PlayStation's official YouTube channel. As for the blog though, I remember reading it at the time, but for whatever reason, some of these details just didn't stick out to me until I went back again recently and took another look. So let's go ahead and dive into this post and see what details we can find. Right out of the gate, Adrian starts off by saying, how should this character's voice change when they drink polyjuice? How long do house elves live? Are graphorns omnivores? These are the types of questions that drive us toward authenticity and the types of questions you only think to ask when you have steeped yourself in the lore. Okay, a lot right there. Of course, we already knew about the graphorns from the trailer, but this quote would seem to indicate that both polyjuice potion and house elves are in fact in the game, which is great news, am I right? With polyjuice, there are obviously some exciting gameplay possibilities. I think this will most likely be something we do during the story of the game and not necessarily something we'll be able to brew anytime we want, although it would certainly be awesome if we could. When it comes to the Harry Potter books, the trio used polyjuice to sneak into places they weren't allowed, such as the Slytherin Common Room in Book 2 and the Ministry of Magic in Book 7. Same for Barty Crouch Jr. in Book 4 when he used the potion to pose as Mad-Eye Moody. So to me, I could see polyjuice being used in a similar manner for Hogwarts Legacy. Perhaps we need to sneak into another common room or maybe a teacher's office or something crazier like Azkaban or the Ministry. House elves are equally exciting as they played such a prominent role throughout the series. My hope is we'll be able to visit them in the Hogwarts kitchens and maybe even have tasks or missions to complete involving them. One other line that's sure to please all of us fans is when Ropp says, quote, "We take seriously the responsibility of contributing new content to the beloved Wizarding World franchise." This is so good to hear for longtime fans of the series. Also how he talks about the fact that they are so steeped in the lore of the Wizarding World already. It's really good that they're asking those questions. Now, if you aren't familiar with Ropp, he's no stranger to working with beloved franchises. He served as story lead for the Disney Infinity series, where he had the opportunity to work on stories for Monsters University, Cars, Marvel's Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Star Wars. Pretty big franchises right there. Continuing on with the blog post though, Ropp goes on to ask a few questions that make it seem like they'll be exploring some of this at some point throughout the game. Questions like, who was the headmaster? What challenges did students face? What influenced their society before Tom Riddle, before Newt Scamander? I like to say that what we are giving fans is something familiar in a way they have never seen. The more I make these Hogwarts Legacy videos, guys, I'm really starting to believe that magical creatures are going to play a central role in the game. I don't think this is just going to be some sort of side quest. We already know we can tame creatures, and we've seen a number of them already in the first trailer. Tom Riddle influenced the Wizarding World by placing a strong emphasis on being a pure-blood wizard. He wanted to create a society where Muggleborns weren't allowed to use magic, and one where all Muggles would have faced persecution from wizards. It's interesting to see him juxtapose Tom Riddle here with Newt Scamander. Newt, of course, is known for all the work he did to protect and catalog magical creatures. We still have a lot to learn about Hogwarts Legacy, but my theory right now on the main story is that it will somehow involve the mistreatment or maybe even the enslavement of magical creatures. We already know we'll be able to choose a path of light or dark, so I'm betting the light path will focus on caring for and taming the magical creatures, whereas the dark path will focus on enslaving them and using them as tools. Reading on, we get confirmation that at least one familiar face from the mainline series will be making an appearance, and that, of course, is Nearly Headless Nick. Sir Nicholas de Mimsy Porpington died on Halloween in October of 1492. That timing puts him squarely in play for a game taking place at Hogwarts in the late 1800s. Here's the full quote, which does go on to reveal even more. "We embrace what we know and challenge ourselves to expand upon it. Nearly Headless Nick would have been floating around, loyal and cheerful as ever. The Forbidden Forest was still forbidden and home to centaurs not likely keen on human interaction. Goblins were around, but this lot certainly didn't work at Gringotts. The village of Hogsmeade was there, and an Ollivander has been making wands since 382 BC. Often the difficult task is choosing which details we aren't going to explore." So, not only are we getting Nearly Headless Nick, but also centaurs, the Forbidden Forest, goblins, and an Ollivander making wands? Yes, please. Now, going back to my theory on the enslavement of magical creatures, again, I think this continues to work and fit here because he's talking about goblins and how this lot certainly wouldn't be working at Gringotts. So this could be long before the goblins have the rights that they do by the time we get to Harry Potter's day. And we already know if the leaked trailer holds up, if that content is still in the game, we're actually going to be doing battle with some of these goblins. So these goblins are hostile, and clearly they do not want us being involved in whatever is going on with them. Again, Forbidden Forest confirmed. Great to see centaurs mentioned as well. Ropp then goes on to talk about how excited they are to be making a game for PS5, specifically calling out the new DualSense controller. With innovative high-definition graphics, a player can practically feel the terror of Inferi bearing down upon them, sense the ground rumbling beneath them as a herd of angry centaurs surrounds them. Even dueling against a deadly dark witch takes on a new level of realism thanks to the controller's ability to imbue sound and touch into every moment. We already knew Inferi were in the game based on the trailer, but man, this really gets me excited. It sounds like there are going to be some truly dark moments in this game, and so many of you keep talking about how you hope the game doesn't shy away from the more mature or frightening aspects of the wizarding world. And again, the fact that we're being surrounded by a herd of angry centaurs here, this ties back into my theory that magical creatures are going to be heavily involved in this game, maybe even playing a pivotal role in the mainline story. If you're new here, I've prepared a full playlist of my Hogwarts Legacy videos for you to check out because we are covering this game extensively. You should see it on the right side of your screen now. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.